Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers,
I'm Will Leggetter.
and this is Mad Men Season 5. Now, when people ask me what my favourite season of Mad Men, I usually say Season 5. This rewatch especially, I really do think that just the unwavering quality of everything from Season 1 onward, I really do think that no season is really lesser than another. However, when people do ask me, I do say Season 5. It's dark. This is the dark season. This is the sad season. The hopeful season in some ways, and the desperately unhopeful season in others. Will, you are now past halfway. You are on the. You've now only got 14. You've got 2 seasons left. Is there a part of you now? Well, there we go. So, is there a part of you now that is thinking, oh, I don't know. Maybe not. I don't want it to end, but I it's coming, and I don't. Maybe a couple more episodes.
I'll say I'm glad you made me watch it.
Great. Great. Season 5, yes, big season for lots of people. We sort of start off with sort of some big picture stuff. So before we get into our rankings, which we do, let's talk big picture. So Peggy's gone.
Yeah.
She's moved up in the world.
Well, because I watch it on Prime.
Yes.
And when she got, it was what, 19,000 she got offered.
Yes, which is
it's about 150 grand in today's money.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I don't blame her.
I don't blame her, but also I really don't think it's the money, because in that farewell scene with Don,
yeah, and he's like, "I'll pay you whatever."
I really do think he would give her, I don't know, 20,000 or whatever. I really do think he would, but she wants her own creative control, and that's fair enough, even if it means breaking Don's heart.
That was the saddest scene.
It was
screw anything else that happened.
Also, big picture, season 4 ended quite happily. A very big note of optimism. Things were going very well for Don. He was very happy with Megan. You messaged me the other day. I don't think I'm used to Megan yet. What's your Megan? How are you finding Megan?
Megan's great.
Megan's lovely.
Yeah.
You like the apartment?
I do like the apartment. It's very nice.
It's a very nice apartment. As Betty says, it's lovely. Well, I think you've seen all of it. I think you've seen most of it. And the times are changing, as Bob Dylan once sang. We're coming up to next season being 1968, which was the most violent, I think, officially the most violent year of all time in New York's history. On top of RFK getting shot, Martin Luther King being shot, all of the trial of the Chicago 7 stuff, all of that stuff, that's this year. 1968. So
nearly watched that last night, because we were like, oh, should we watch that? And I said, no.
Yeah.
We watched Road to Perdition instead, which I think was a good choice.
It was excellent.
Better than Trial of Chicago 7.
Indefinitely. Big Road to Perdition fan. Maybe Hank, maybe not. I think you'd have to say Castaway, but I really do think it's up there for Hanks.
Yeah, because he's not in it too much, which I think is always a good thing with Hanks.
Yeah, I've never been a big Hanks guy. I watch stuff and I go, oh, he was good in that, but he's not really a draw for me.
Yeah, he's just a nice man. That's the appeal.
Man. you know who else is a nice man? Lane Price. Well, was there even a moment where you thought that was going to happen?
No, I thought he'd fix his car
Mm.
and it'd be off.
That was his sort of ghost of Christmas past.
Yeah.
I was going to do this, but well, that's the genius of it, isn't it? And then you think he's writing his resignation letter, which he obviously is.
Yeah.
And then
it was his resignation from life.
And it was boilerplate, not even a single note of anything. It was just the normal resignation letter. Yeah, brutal. Don has now caused 2 people to hang themselves, as we find with the ghost of Adam coming back, or reminded of, rather. And, well, no, he not necessarily caused it directly each time, but well, we'll get to it in commissions and fees. But, yeah, brutal. And as I sort of I say that season 5 is the sad one. I do think Joan's prostitution, Lane's suicide, and Peggy leaving is the most dour triple bill ending.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be at the season pitch at the first writers meeting. So what we're going to do this series, guys?
It's I just feel it's like, okay, yeah, season 4 was really happy in comparison. Let's ruin that. And but they've got a car now, so things are looking up for SCDP. They're going to get a second floor. Wait till you see the second floor with more open plan.
Oh, I do like open plan.
Lovely second floor. Season 6 is great.
Reminds me of a thing, because I was saying to you the other day, I really like the flat, and I designed something like Don's new flat in my architecture project, but they told me you can't do that because you went in, it was a lovely mezzanine house. I've still kept the mezzanine. So you walk in, you can see upstairs, but you can also, you walk into the living room, and then at the end of the living room, so the sofa makes a barrier, and then you descend again into the kitchen. I like playing with levels, but you can't do that obviously because we now know accessibility is a thing, like wheelchair users, but they just didn't care in the 70s.
They didn't care, just a nice little pit.
Yeah.
And well, as we see in A Little Kiss, which we will get to. This is, season 5 and season 6 both open with double 2-parters that were presented as sort of an hour-and-a-half film, or at least an hour-and-a-half episode. On the Blu-rays and DVDs, it's presented. I watch it as an hour-and-a-half. Amazon Prime, I believe, splits it.
Yeah, part 1 and part 2.
Part 1 and part 2. And I guess you can see it as part 1 and part 2, but I do think it does flow completely. Part 2 is literally the morning after. And you don't really get that with episodes. It's usually
I watched the first 5 or 6 episodes in one go. So
you're fully in. You're real. Are you like? What is your scale now of Mad Men enjoyment and love?
I follow it more now. Yeah, I can say that. Yeah.
Oh, what a show! And of course, the biggest change in between seasons. Whoa, Fat Betty, whoa,
yes.
Fat Betty,
That's that was a shocker. That was a.
So basically, January Jones got pregnant. Right, basically, in between season 4 and season 5, there was this major contract dispute with Matthew Weiner and AMC and everybody, and it took a long time. And basically, the dispute was Matthew Weiner wanted, I want 3 more seasons, and that's it, and I get full creative control, and on and so on and so on. And he got it, because it was just one of the biggest Emmy shows of all time. Everybody loves it, critically acclaimed, and very well received just with a normal audience. And so they got it. However, in that time, January Jones fell pregnant, and he really didn't want Betty to be pregnant again. And they didn't want to do the whole... There was a season of I Love Lucy where Lucille Ball was pregnant in the 50s, and they changed all of the furniture to make it higher, and she would stand behind the furniture. That's how they did it.
Reminds me of obviously in New Girl, when Zooey Deschanel got pregnant, and she did like her hiatus, and then who was it that came on?
Megan
it was
Fox.
Megan Fox.
Reagan.
Awful awful points
Terrible.
of my life when I watched those episodes. But
The
but yeah,
fact that oh, sorry, go on.
in like the court scene, she was like
Oh,
holding
yeah.
a bag up, or the camera was only it was, you could,
Washing
it was very
baskets.
obvious. Yeah.
The fact that the Exorcist's Reagan, the demon-possessed child, isn't the most horrifying and annoying Reagan of all time in media is a testament to Megan Fox's pretty dull performance. I think we went into this on the Christmas special because that was a Reagan era. Reagan era, as in peace, the 80s, Cold War. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. And so they made her heavier, and
Yes.
she had this cancer
She has
scare.
a fat suit, does she?
Yes, full fat suit.
Yes.
Yeah. And because that's a real thing from Matthew Weiner's life. He had an uncle who had cancer, and his joke was always he had a thyroid cancer, and his thing was, I've got the only cancer that makes you fat. And that is true. And obviously the spectre of cancer hangs over Betty. Her mother dies of cancer just before the season starts. Elizabeth Hofstadt, pardon me. And that sort of looming hangs over it. And then obviously the great punchline, the most Betty thing ever, she finds out that she doesn't have cancer, and instead of being overjoyed, so it means I'm just fat. I'm the most Betty thing ever. I'm talking so much about Tea Leaves, which is a John Hamm directed episode, because it's one of my cuts.
It was the bottom of my cuts. It was yeah.
Again, I think we're at a point now, we say it every time, but Tea Leaves is another great episode. It just didn't make my top 10. Just one of those things. John Hamm directed it. I believe is the first one he directed.
Yeah, I saw it. So because John Slattery did one
directed
as well.
An absolutely masterpiece episode, which we will get to. Very high up my list, not to give away. But yes, John Slattery does an excellent job. And it's Duck Phillips' dog who's now come back from being left outside.
It's been out all this time.
Like the dog in Futurama. Oh, I will wait forever. Very sad. What was your other cut, Will?
Yeah, because obviously we're only cutting. Oh, we're cutting 3, aren't we? Or is it
No, we're cutting 2 because a little kiss is a little kiss.
Yes. So my other cut was Signal 30.
Okay, that's not a cut for me. As I have just alluded to.
Yes.
That will be,
which brings me to, sorry, John, didn't like it.
Sorry, John Slattery. You didn't like it?
Oh, no, I did. I just cut it. I can't really remember much that happened.
We'll get to Signal 30. My other cut was Dark Shadows, which means that it is on your list, and we will get to it when we get to it. Will, what was your number 10?
My number 10 was Christmas Waltz.
Okay, that's higher for me, so we can talk about that later. My number 10 was At the Codfish Bowl.
I've got that. Number 8.
Okay, let's talk about talk about the Codfish Bowl then. So we meet Marie Calvé's mother. Yes,
yeah. And she likes John Slattery more than I do, clearly.
Yeah, well, clearly. She very much likes John Slattery, as we see and Sally sees.
Yeah.
Incredible. Just a knockout episode. Yes, At the Codfish Bowl. So we are introduced to Julia Armand is the name of the actress. Emile is the name of the father. Why am I forgetting Marie's mother's name? Emile tells Megan about the events. Marie. There we go. Marie Calvé and Megan. Yeah. Marie Calvé, delightful. Julia Armand clearly very much enjoys her booze, and they are invited down. And it just so happens that it's in time for Don to receive an award about the smoking letter. And they're all sort of in the glow still of the smoking letter. And not to jump the gun on the episode, the kicker is that incredible shot of them all coming back to the table depressed.
Yeah.
And after Don finds out from Leland Palmer, Ray Wise himself from Twin Peaks, nobody trusts you, because that letter was great, but nobody trusts you. You know, you're not going to get any of this business. Ken's father-in-law, which obviously comes to fruition later in commissions and fees. Will, what did you enjoy about this episode? Do you like Marie?
Yeah. And I thought the in-laws were very, very jovial, very fun characters.
Did you like Emile? One day, Don, she will spread her legs and fly away.
I love that. That was very good.
Wings, Daddy.
And John Slattery liked it as well.
He did like it as well, yeah. You look like you were born in a bow tie. Putting it on very, very early. Also, as we know from the Titanic episode, I love it when people are really nice to kids. And like in Titanic, don't be like that. It's when in Titanic when he's got to dance with Rose, he's like, "You're still my main girl, Cora." And I love nothing more than Roger and Sally's little relationship in this.
Yes,
you can be my date.
She becomes his date. Yeah.
Go get him, Tiger, and I'm gonna go get you cards, and you put them in the purse. And obviously, the culmination of that is, seeing the blowjob.
Yeah. I'm just glad it was
just a blowjob. Yeah. And then obviously, man, they get to it again in the Phantom. She swings by again. Emile presumably is out of the picture. So, and also, Roger is divorced. Well, no, divorcing halfway through.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that when we get to that. Also in the Codfish Bowl, incredible moment and also I think it's a big win for Megan. So every time we have a dinner with Betty was lovely, and she has the great line in the second season when she goes, "Is this a dinner where I talk or not?" And but Megan, she figures it out. She's told in the bathroom about Hines wanting to move ships, and then we're being fired. And she wins it, and they do the business, and I mean, they have incredible sex, presumably at the office. They can't wait to get home. We could go back to the office. Okay, go back to the Time Life building. Wow, definitely good stuff.
Yeah,
I think Don and Megan just really work. I mean, obviously they have their major arguments, but
yes, they do argue more than Betty and Don argue, and they divorced. True. Yeah, but I think these are healthy arguments.
They feel, whereas all the Betty stuff, I don't think there were any arguments because they were both done and resigned to it all, and
they just ended with him drinking and then going off to find another lady.
I really do not think that if Henry didn't come into Betty's life, she would have ever divorced him ever. The only reason she divorces Don, I think I've put it in a shitty script, but my line is always, you don't jump ship if there isn't a lifeboat. And obviously that's not true in all cases, but it is true most of the time.
If you've seen Titanic, many people do.
She jumps back on. You're so stupid, Rose. You're so stupid. Thank God we didn't see Cora dying in the sinking. I've never realised that. I've watched Titanic like every year, and I've never realised that we never see Cora dying, which is good.
She's sinking there, and then Jack goes, "Don't worry, he'll always be my mate."
It's still my mate. She swims up on the raft. I'm your main girl. Sorry, still my main girl, Cora. Oh, great. And then, because she's the one at the start, when she goes, "Look, that's a big boat." And he goes, "It's a ship, Daddy, not a boat." Go, you fucking idiot. It's a ship. She doesn't say that. But yeah, the arguments. And obviously, so Megan has two big ones where at the end of Faraway Places, every time we argue, it lessens us that little bit. And in a way, that is a way to look at relationships, especially in that sort of honeymoon period. where you're like, every time we argue, we're ruining this just a little bit. And as you say, so these are healthier, well, quote unquote, healthier arguments. Eat, come here, do this, open your dress. Yes, master, yes. We'll get to faraway places. Wow, incredible. What was I going to say? At the Codfish Bowl. Anything left to say about At the Codfish Bowl?
Not really.
At number 9, I've got Mystery Date.
No, I have. Where have I got Mystery Date? I've got that further up, a lot further up.
Oh.
Yes.
And where's your number 9 then?
My
Who's
number
your
9. My number 9 is Lady Lazarus.
I've got again a little bit higher up, so we're going to pause on Lady Lazarus. Your number 8 was At the Codfish Bowl. My number 8 is The Phantom.
No, I've got that at number 7. So
okay, we'll talk about The Phantom. Yeah. Your sort of theory from very early on was that the season finales are always the best episodes. I think as we go on, I think that becomes a little bit looser. Well, as we can see, it's not our number 1, or even in either of our top 5s. All the same, it is an incredible episode and does feel like the sort of breathing period that we need after Lane's suicide.
I think one good thing to say about this series is, for me, it's the first series that felt like it had an arc.
Okay, right. And what was that arc for you?
I think it. That's a always going to I get prepared. I think you can see Lane. Looking back at it now, you can see Lane coming.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've done any videos. I actually don't do any videos because I've told you not to. But it's not ridiculous. But I don't know if you remember Don sketching a noose in the first episode. He's literally sketching a noose in the first episode. Pete talking about the suicide policies with Howard on the train. We've not even talked about Pete and Beth, who they go on to marry in real life.
Oh, excellent!
So it's a happy ending.
They must have had a very fun time.
Yes.
Very heart on the window. And then
go downstream. It isn't dreaming. Beatles. We've got so much Beatles talk to do.
Yeah, lots of Beatles. Yeah, and Rolling Stones.
And indeed the Rolling Stones. I just signed them. That they come in. Great stuff. We'll get to that in Lazy Lazarus. In Lady Lazarus. But in the meantime, The Phantom, I love that we don't get a big, because it's a very realistic depiction. Obviously, there is lots of outpourings of emotion in commissions and fees, but this just feels natural. There's a little bit where Joan looks and sees the empty seat and she goes, okay, I feel like somebody should voice the negatives. Obviously, there's the great bit with Roger and Marie, and he goes, one of my partners ended it all. You must be so certain that you're going someplace better. And very, very touching moment. And then that incredible scene with Don going to see Lane's wife, which again, you think will maybe be Don having another cry moment or something. But no, she doesn't give him it. You've not done anything. We're deeper in debt than this 50,000 you're giving. Look at who's this picture, because we've more or less forgotten about the woman from the first episode, the picture thing. And again, another great moment, Joan saying, why couldn't I have just given him what he wanted? Yes.
I'm raising my hand. Yes. I just remembered the whole wallet thing. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun again. But and he's like, please, I insist, take the money. And he doesn't take it, but he needs it. He needed it because he's in debt and he kills himself, Tom.
Really, a thing I really noticed this time was, so Don, obviously, why didn't you come to me? And he goes, because, and it's the real harsh bit in commissions and fees. And he goes, oh, it's so easy for you, all that money. And then I started thinking about the hilarious running gag this season of Roger having to pay everybody. for all of
Yeah.
the little jobs. And it's hilarious. And then you step back and go, oh my God, how brilliant. The entire season we've been laughing about giving away money. Look at all this. I've got to carry less cash. And we love it. We love Roger. And it's funny.
Yeah.
And then you spend 3 episodes and you go with Lane and it's brilliant and so dark and so horrible.
Again, like, linking back to, it really felt like it was leading to something, or it had an arc and everything was interlinked. Yeah. I enjoyed it. You could say other seasons, they like the one linking to the breakup of the marriage, or they're obvious, but I think this felt very coherent as a series.
I think this perhaps is, obviously it has its story arcs, and as we've discussed, but this feels like the arc is around a theme of acceptance, death, and sadness. I guess very broad themes. But whereas, as you say, season 3, the arc is the end of the marriage, culminating obviously with JFK and the horror of that, and then the rekindling and end of the first iteration of Sterling Cooper. 4th season obviously is Don finding love again and being happy in himself after the suitcase. I think I can be with you on this point of the theme. It's the sad one. I didn't say it to you obviously and say this is the sad season, but it really is. Just I can't even imagine.
Does this mean there'll be no more Lane in the next 2 seasons? Oh.
Yes. Well,
yeah.
It's not like Paul, where he's going to come back for an episode and Hare Krishna, falls back.
I loved that.
Am I going to come down with the case of the Negron complex? And go, no, it's the Negrons and the Caucasons. Just terrible base. Like, I've come up with this great idea. What if black people were white? And what if they were racist against white people? And he thinks it's this incredible masterpiece. And he goes, oh, it's really bad. I'm coming to terms with that. But
Noughts and crosses.
Oh, yeah, that was Noughts and Crosses.
You just slate, yeah.
He really did just slate. Everybody loves Noughts and Crosses.
Everybody,
Paul
Stormzy
Kinsey.
loves Noughts and Crosses.
Stormzy loves Jolene. Why can't Stormzy start watching Mad Men and start live tweeting? He's like, Joan got rid of Greg, thank God. Which we'll talk about. Yes, the Phantom, brutal episode. That, again, I guess for me, this is the greatest end to a season ever, but we will talk about that in our I was watching, I completely forgot there was another episode after Lane.
Yeah, and I thought, wait, when he's driving
Glenn, which
Glenn
presumably was your happiest moment.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was ending there with them driving home. So yeah, I thought you could have ended it on the other one. But I'm glad the Phantom happened, because obviously they had to tie up all of the loose ends. Yeah,
and we get Peggy at work, and she's
a
real Dom. And it's fulfilling on that promise of faraway places where she tries to be Dom for a day. And she's just not bad at it, but it's just miserable for her, which we'll talk about. But she gets to be Dom. She's got the power.
Yeah.
All's going well for Peggy. And they meet in the cinema. And I love that she's not in commissions and fees. It's the first ever episode without Peggy is commissions and fees after she leaves in The Other Woman. And for an episode, it's a bit like when Joan left.
Yeah.
And for a couple of episodes, she's not there. And you're like, wait, is that it for Joan? Obviously, I don't think anybody thinks that that's it for Peggy. But also, if that was it for Peggy, that would be a perfect ending for her.
Yeah. Well, they're walking into that lift, and then you get the kinks. That's great.
The music in this season absolutely rules, which we we'll get to.
It's because music's starting to get very good in real life at this point.
Music was always important, then. I bought you the new Beatles album. Oh, just you wait. We will talk about the ending of the Phantom in that song rundown. Number 7, I Have a Little Kiss, part 1 and part 2.
I number 7, as
Have
alluded
the Phantom.
to, Have the Phantom. Yeah, I Have a Little Kiss, bit higher.
Okay, so we'll save on that. We won't do our middle of the roads just yet. At the 6, I have Christmas Waltz, which you had at 10.
Yes, we'll talk about that then.
Which is our second Christmas episode. Obviously, I'm trying to.
Yes.
It's definitely our second Christmas episode, but I can't remember whether it's second and done. I can't remember if there's another Christmas. This is the Hare Krishna with Paul returning that we talked about. We'll get to the other elements of the show in just a minute, but let's talk about Harry Crane and Lakshmi and the return of Paul Kinsey. Were you completely surprised?
Yes. I was surprised many things, not just that Paul was back, but the scenario.
Well, yes, taking it like this.
Yeah.
In the office, yeah. Because Harry Crane isn't really a guy that's lusted after in the show. And as we find out, it wasn't really a lusting. It was a business deal.
Yeah.
Everything is a transaction in the show. It's marvelous. Yes, Hare Krishna, and the Negron complex, the Caucasus. Yes, did you enjoy Paul coming back? A bit enlightened?
I did. I enjoyed that. That whole first scene when they go behind the towels, and then Harry's just having a great time, not knowing what is going on, and they're all just. I like the bit where he carries on singing at the end because he's so into it.
Also, I'm with Harry. How did you know to end?
Yeah, I suppose when everyone else finishes, you stop.
You stop. They were very well practiced. Yes, this is it for Paul now. We don't get Paul again.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have him back for a scene. He's all shaved now. But he's still a writer. I pass it on to Mr. Roddenberry. That's not how it works. Do you think? I mean, obviously, what we hear of it is terrible.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a good? Pardon me. Do you think it's a good script at all?
No. I know he's probably a great writer.
As we saw with that glorious play.
Yeah.
Sal kissing Joan.
And
poor Sal, we don't get Sal coming back as a Buddha.
As a Buddha.
As a Buddhist, by the way.
But I think, clearly he's just going through a midlife crisis, so it won't be a good script.
No. But we do know he loves sci-fi because in that first season when he's trying to flirt with Peggy, he's like, submitted for your approval. He goes, I'll just kill myself if they cancel the Twilight Zone, which is a great moment. And so, of course, he loves Star Trek. However, Christmas Waltz is an absolute knockout for a very particular reason. One extended 10-minute scene with Don and Joan.
It's great.
It's incredible. So it starts with. Pardon me. It kicks off with the concept of Jaguar, and they're trying to go for Jaguar because they need a car. Every company on this street is measured by the time they got a car, and also this is the introduction of Lane's money troubles. Ending in that horrible final shot of the zoom into him because they're not doing the bonuses and we want to root for Don's wonderful triumphant speech, but we can't because we know that Lane, something is terrible happening for Lane with this money, even if you don't know what he's going to kill himself. But yes, that incredible Don and Joan. So kicking off with Joan receiving her divorce papers from Greg, which we'll talk about when we get to Mystery Day. Thank God. but he's, yeah, the only way he can feel like a man is if he also serves the divorce papers. And surprise, there's a plane here to see you.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Joan, and he pulls her out, and come with me. And
so just to start, it sounded that line could have been taken straight out of emergency service calls.
Me and Will during was it Footloose?
Oh, was it Footloose? I want to say so because it was a long running gag and it definitely covered both years.
We love doing nothing more than typing in A-level drama final pieces, and we found a glorious one called Emergency Service Calls, which just tops itself over and over and over again. When people make fun of A-level drama, they're doing this. They basically thought that they had the integrity in drama to talk about 9/11, the 7/7 bombings, real life killings, and they do it with the deftness of a hammer, with the slight touch of a hammer, including transitions where they pretend to be planes. It's obscene, and one of the great moments that we quote an awful lot anytime anybody asks what the date is them going, "Oh, what date is it today?" The deadline's today. The deadline's today, September the 11th. And it's just so crude, and
it's bad.
It's really bad. And yeah, the printer isn't working. They do a library sequence because they do Columbine as well, because that's not off the cards. Throw Columbine in. Let's just offend everybody we possibly can. And E squared plus B squared equals C squared. Yeah, so definitely Google Emergency Service Calls A-level final drama piece. It's one of our favorites. And yeah, surprise! And a plane's here to see you. And so they go to get a Jaguar. And again, the introduction of money's no object to Don. I'm going to sign a check.
He must be a rich man.
Oh, yes. He pays some money. No, that stops there. I'm not saying. But yeah, he is a rich man and he can buy whatever he wants. And yeah, so, and Don and Joan have this just incredible extended scene. Because I do think, as much as we love Roger and Joan, I'm pretty sure within the Mad Men community, there was a lot of shipping going on. Like lots of, because arguably they are the most handsome and beautiful and charismatic people on the show.
Yeah, and they do make each other happy. They're kind to each other,
and it's just never flirted.
But Joan wants a bad boy.
Joan wants.
I mean, yeah, one of them is quite bad, but we want Roger.
Yes, very, very bad. You volunteered. Sorry, absolute knockout season for Joan. Just ringer after ringer, which we'll get to in Mystery Date. But yes, this love, and she goes, you know, all these flowers, and there were never any from you. And then obviously it ends with him sending her flowers. My mother raised me to be adored, or whatever she says. Just a really just touching, beautiful, extended sequence. It's just delightful. Give me some change, I want to dance. And we listen to Doris Day singing Christmas Waltz. So beautiful. And
one issue I do take, it must just be the miser within me. But I mean, why didn't just pay normal price? You're wasting your money there, Don.
Yeah, but if I had the money, I would also pay another 500, so I didn't have to do all the fucking paperwork.
Right.
Can you imagine? We've got all this coming, all this paperwork. If we had the money, we would also.
Because currently I'm in like half and half. Some stuff I do, some stuff is done because I'm in like shared house scenarios. So it's all. But I'm quite looking forward to like when I get like a proper job, and I've got this steady income, and I can start saying, oh, I need to spend that there, and I've all my spreadsheets. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I am a very able man myself. I think as long as they're not stressful.
Yeah.
As long as there's no red.
Yeah.
Then I'll enjoy the spreadsheets as well. However, I've chosen to be an actor, so it will be basically
Good luck
Control.
affording Microsoft Excel.
Yeah, Control A, red. Is it Black Friday because they go out of the black or into the black?
Oh, I don't know because I don't know because for the consumers, into the black, but for the
Easter sale. What a bullshit. The minute sales are terrible. They're great, but they're terrible.
Happy Easter. I've got my lint.
Yes,
here.
Happy Easter.
This is from Christmas.
Well, speaking of Christmas, Will, it's Sunday the 5th of December. So happy. We've got Elf on Thursday. Nativity, Gremlins.
Oh, Nativity.
All that. And then your choice, The Family Man. My choice, All That Heaven Allows. And then ending with Chevy Chase. We've got a lovely Christmas coming up. After I swat that fly. And then after Christmas, we will finish Series 6, Season 7, on my birthday. Oh, my God. Oh, wonderful. That's not even planned. The 13th of January. Send your PO mailboxes, everybody. We will literally finish.
I was just asking for my benefit.
For your benefit, yeah. I'm terrible with birthdays. Literally, the fact that my ex had a Christmas Eve birthday was a blessing in disguise. I mean, I hope to God I'd remember it if it wasn't, but it helps that it was Christmas Eve. Speaking of Christmas waltz, before we go on another tangent. Oh my God, I just caught that fly. Wow. Killed it as well.
Off camera, I'd like to add.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I just saved a man from jumping off a building.
Like Muhammad Ali. And then this episode gloriously ends with get ready to take a big leap and start swimming in champagne. And you're like, yeah, Don. And everybody claps. Big season for Stan. He's not completely the nicest man in the world, but do you like Stan? I think Stan's great.
Yeah, I do like Stan, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's getting along with Peggy. Did you like Ginsberg?
No.
I
hate him. I don't know whether it's the character or the actor, because he reminds me of that very, very confident, very good actor that you'd hate at drama school.
He is very annoying. He always has the great concentration camp monologue.
Yes.
But in faraway places. But I mean, and also he is within the Mad Men community. Well, I'm going to let you in on a secret, not a secret. There are like the two biggest moments or whatever. The two most quoted, most whatever moments are. You never say, I pay you and you give me ideas. That's what you do. But you never say thank you. That's what the money's for. That's the big one. And then the second one is, of course, I feel bad for you. I don't think about you at all. And
or in the lifts. I love that. And I'm like, yeah.
Ginsberg. Ginsberg. Yes, glorious. I'm not really a big Ginsberg fan, but also, and I always say this is the greatest strength of the show. Anytime it cuts to a new character, you don't go, "Oh, is it a Joan episode?" Every other TV series ever, you cut to a new character and you go,
"Any Dawn?"
You cut to Joan Collins and you go, Joan Collins? Every I forgot to take my antihistamine. I'm going to do it live. And when I say live, I mean 3 months earlier than the recording, than the release. But anytime it cuts, even Ginsberg, I never cut to Ginsberg and go, oh, great, a Ginsberg episode. Because I'm just so in. Yeah. Is there anybody that because obviously it's my favorite show ever. Is there anybody for you currently in the show that it cuts to them and you're like, oh, great?
Not necessarily, but I think that's because there's always someone else there. Like, even when Ginsberg goes home, I love his dad.
His dad's lovely, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the original.
Yes, very good. That was my number 6. That was your number 10.
Yes.
Your number 6.
My number 6 indeed was The Other Woman.
Yeah, that's a bit higher for me. So it's going to be I think. Well, we'll see where a couple of them land, but I think it's going to be a tough one to rank this time round. Let's do 5s, and then we'll take our break and talk about.
Okay.
So my number 5 was Lady Lazarus, which was your number 9.
Yep. My number 5 was A Little Kiss.
A Little Kiss. Oh, very good. So let's talk about these two then. So A Little Kiss I had at 7. Lady Lazarus at 5. So let's. I've got Lady Lazarus up. Let's talk about this. Beth. Let's talk about Pete and Beth. What was that reaction?
Oh,
very sad. And then she comes back into it, and you're like, okay. And then she's like, no, I'm going to have electric shock therapy. And you go, this was still happening in 1967.
Yeah.
And it of course was. I love the seeding of Howard throughout. I believe, it's the Phantom when he finally punches Howard.
Yeah, on the train.
And obviously she's confessed to having an affair with a man, and he goes, it's you. And
I like how when is it later on that Pete just says it to his face?
That's when the punch. So that's the Phantom. And you leave her there because Howard's just despicable. Let's get off and go back in, and we'll have a night. And poor Pete getting punched around and beaten up mercilessly this season, which obviously ends with Trudy.
Yeah.
I want you to get the apartment in New York.
Lane did it as well.
Lane does do it. You grimy little pimp. You can't be serious. We're not doing this. I know I should stop this, but I want to watch. She had chewing gum on her pubis. We will get to that.
Is in the community, does everyone mourn for Lane? Does everyone?
Everybody mourns for Lane. It is so sad. It is. Everybody, obviously, apart from anytime Don shows emotion, Lane is the big. There's this big season 7 scene that I watch when I'm in my sad rotation. That or the end of Suitcase. They're like my big sad boy Tom moments. However, the Lane stuff is just rough, and it's brilliant. They acted and performed. Lady Lazarus, Beth. So this is Megan, who we find is actually pretty great ad creative. She's not just there. I love her little arc before she becomes an actress. Of you start with a little kiss, and you're like, okay, so Joan pegged her at the end. She's going to be under you soon. There's no way he's going to be married to his secretary.
Yeah.
And I love that she's good at it, and she's not just his wife. Whether it's the Heinz pitch of the Heinz through the years, and then obviously the Cool Whip, and the just taste it. Is it a dessert? Just taste it.
Yes, I love that. That what a scene.
The prep of it, and you're like, oh, these are just a great couple. And then the incredible payoff of Don and Peggy. Why don't you try it? Are you sure, honey? Do you want me to taste it? Yes, just taste it.
And then at the end of that woman's there, you can't smoke in.
You can't smoke in here. When it starts going wrong when she goes, yeah, I've got 2 cups for us. And she takes the cups and goes, no, put those down. Don't. It is just perfect. And obviously Don, I think he's mostly happy for Megan as an actress. I think we get the real happiness of it with the Phantom when he's watching her show reel, and he obviously gives her the role as the beauty in the Bartlett shoes commercial. But earlier, I think he's a bit reluctant. And she comes to him, and I want to be an actress. Failing at that audition was better than succeeding at Heinz, which, yeah, if that's how you feel, you probably would be better off as an actress.
We've all had a failed audition. We've all been there.
And he bids farewell to Megan, and then an elevator comes, and the elevator's not there.
Yeah, he looks down.
And again, there you go. There's your suicide again. Looming dread.
Oh, I don't like it.
And yes, this entire time, they're on about we can't get the Beatles. And Ginsberg swearing. You know, it feels like it's stabbing me in the fucking heart.
He just goes,
why are you cursing?
Yeah.
And that we're in 67 now. We're moving forward.
Sex is fine.
Sex is fine. Sex is great. I feel like an ad. Sex is fine. Sex is great. Try sex. Topaz. Always less expensive. Never cheap. They basically, I don't know if we talked about this before, but they do have real advertising executives on the show with them who come up with these campaigns. Obviously, sometimes it's through Weiner as well, because obviously the Jaguar campaign perfectly fits. At last, something beautiful you can truly own, and all the other times that the ads have perfectly fit with the story. For instance, London Fog, when his idea for the London Fog campaign is somebody exposing themselves, and obviously that's what Sal has just happened with Sal. And Tomorrow Never Knows. The Beatles, they paid $250,000 for the use of the Beatles.
I know what it's like to use Beatles music.
And yes, you got copyright flagged. And it's the first time that the Beatles were used on cable television, or in that sort of use. Yeah, big deal.
Hard Day's Night, awful movie.
Oh, when did you watch it?
Oh, no, ages ago.
It's not. It's
bad. It's bad.
I don't know if it's awful, but it is. The scenes are like. Do the next song. Come on. It is one of those things. Just sing. It's one of those things where you sit back and go, "This was the big." I mean, I guess you can't stop the Beatles.
It's like Bohemian Rhapsody. You're just waiting for them to sing.
And then when they sing, you're waiting for them to stop. Yeah. How does somebody win Best Actor for miming?
He won
to me.
The Best Actor Oscar.
And
like miming aside, it wasn't
great.
He shouldn't have won.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Real bad. Bradley Cooper, incredible in A Star Is Born. It's not like the rest of the nominees were shit. Like I watched A Star Is Born and I was like, okay, so that's a lock. She's got Best Actress, Best Director, Best Film. Because The Favourite was great. I loved The Favourite, but I thought it's a bit weird. I don't think people are going to like it. Whereas Star Is Born is great and also is quite crowd friendly and is a big Oscar movie. And then it just goes forgotten about. And fucking Green Book. What are we doing? Green Book and Bohemian Rhapsody? Are we insane? At least Olivia won. They're doing a timer.
We do like it for our own. Yeah.
What's her name in Peep Show?
Sophie Chapman.
Sophie Chapman. Happy birthday, happy birthday.
What a scene. That is a great episode.
That was our top Peep Show, wasn't it?
It was our number 2.
Nazi,
Daryl. You know you can't do that, Daryl. With his core anglais.
Yes, that is good. I also love. I guess we'll talk about it. Let's move into song.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about the Beatles. So, first time he sees Megan not the first time he sees Megan, but season 4. Things are going well with Dr. Miller, and then he's like, "Wait a minute, that Megan is absolutely beautiful," and I've just sold the Beatles tickets or got them, and the Santo and Johnny version of "Do You Wanna Know a Secret" starts playing, and you go, "Oh, Don, oh, Don," and then obviously in Faraway Places we have that incredible flashback to them driving home from Disneyland, and he's whistling "I Want to Hold Your Hand." And I guess that sort of flags a darkness, or at least an immediately a waning, for a leaving the honeymoon period for Don and Meghan. Because like that's, if the start of your relationship is, do you want to know a secret? And the happiness of that, and whistling "I Want to Hold Your Hand," and just being madly, madly in love with this spontaneous, incredible thing. And then suddenly, I bought you the new Beatles album, and it's "Tomorrow Never Knows," and it's "Relax and flow downstream, it isn't living," and it's all about giving into the void and accepting death. Again, there you go, your big theme. And he just turns off. This is shit. I'm not listening to this.
I agree, Don.
I agree. "Tomorrow Never Knows" isn't terrible. I love it in this.
Well, it was during their experimental period, shall we say?
Yes, yeah. It's Revolver. I'm sorry. The fact that Eleanor Rigby was the A side and Yellow Submarine was a B side, the B side to Eleanor Rigby. Can you even comprehend dropping the needle on Eleanor Rigby? That 2 minutes going by and going.
I mean, my favourite Beatles song of all time.
My favourite, undeniably. I think almost unequivocally, it's in the top 5 songs ever written. And it's beautiful, and it's dark, and it's just strings, and it's 2.5 minutes, and it goes by, and you're like, oh my God. That was...
Speaking of Eleanor Rigby, that's the song I used when the Beatles rejected
the Beatles personally copyright struck you. Have you seen Paul McCartney talk about and then you flip over and it's fucking Yellow Submarine in the town? I can't even imagine. Have you heard about Paul McCartney when he does his Michael Jackson impression? When Michael Jackson, like in the late 80s, bought the Beatles catalogue. And because obviously Paul and Michael did "The Girl Is Mine. Oh, God damn, that girl is mine. She's mine, Paul. She's mine, Michael. Oh, I don't believe it." And he does this accent where he does the "I'm Michael Jackson," because the way he tells it is, yeah. And Michael would come up to me sometimes in the recording and he'd say, "I'm going to buy your music," and I'd go, "Oh, very funny, Michael." And then a year later, it did. And for a good 5 years, Michael Jackson owned the complete Beatles catalogue.
Wow.
And then he also bought the Elephant Man's bones.
Yes.
One of those things, I guess. Yeah, it was right. I'm just going to say it. Michael Jackson, bit weird.
I'm getting the word.
Now, who here can't touch? It's an F, an S. Yes, an S. Oh, excellent. Excellent. Let's keep talking about music. I've ranked, as I do, all 9 songs. I think I know what yours is. So we will get to that when we get to it. Just shout as we go. Number 9, I have Butchie's Tune by Loving Spoonful. I don't know. It's fine. It's when Glenn's driving. It's okay. Then "Ode to Joy" at the end of Signal 30, the miniature orchestra. "You Don't Have to Say You Love Me." Great end to "A Little Kiss," which we're going to talk about in a minute. Just say you love me. Yeah, excellent stuff. Then "Sweeping the Clouds Away" by Maurice Chevalier. Just delightful. Lovely little track when they have a lovely Thanksgiving. The Francis Drapers. "He Hit Me and It Felt Like a Kiss." If there's a more perfect song to emulate Joan and Greg's tumultuous and at times fucking horrible and criminal relationship, it's that great Crystal song. 14, 16 going on 17. I mean, you're just playing to me now. At the end of Tea Leaves with Betty going and eating Sally's ice cream as well. 3, as we talked about, "You Really Got Me." Just can't beat the Kinks, and that needle drop rules, and her little smile, and away we go. "Tomorrow Never Knows," again, as we've said, not my favorite Beatles song, but I think in the context of that conclusion, perfect. And also bonus marks for Don turning it off. and and then it coming on in the credits. However, we touched on it. The greatest, maybe it's the greatest single 30 seconds. It's definitely the greatest end to an episode. It's definitely the greatest end to a season. It's beautiful, subtle, powerful, ingenious. You Only Live Twice, Nancy Sinatra. Don walking away. Wow.
That was my number one. And it's my favourite Bond song. I think it's probably your second favourite. I know you have Nobody Does It Better.
I do love Nobody Does It Better. In actuality, though, it's my number one, and then Nobody Does It Better, and then Live and Let Die. What if halfway through this rock song I did a reggae verse? Okay, Paul. What does it matter to you when you got a job to do? What? Anyway.
Paul.
Oh, Paul. Dom, boom, 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 boom. The Frog Choir. You Only Live Twice. I mean, obviously, You Only Live Twice. He obviously has lived twice. It's the perfect song. It's incredible. And we have Roger taking LSD again, his butt, showing his wang to the world. Pete kicking back and relaxing. And then the moment that absolutely just floors me every single time. My friend over there was wondering, are you alone? And that look to the camera and cut to black. I literally I watched it alone, of course, and I stood up and went, wow. I mean, what else? I was literally talking to myself because it just is that incredible. Maybe that's really sad, but it's true. And I do think it is just an absolute knockout. It's a sad, sad situation, and it's getting more and more absurd. Can't pronounce the word absurd, apparently. Did that final line floor you as well, Will?
It was pretty good. I think other honourable mentions. Well, my top three as it goes. You Only Live Twice, 16 going on 17, and You Really Got Me. I think.
Your life, little girl.
Which is I'm excited to play that. I want to be Rolf because I've done Kurtz, I've done Friedrich. I'm moving up next. So
Rolf next.
Then Rolf, and then I'll be a wonderful. I'm skipping out Max. No one wants to be Max.
Nobody wants to be Max. In the show, he has a good song.
He does, but it's a duet. And then obviously Captain Von Trapp is the.
And also, Will, you're not giving yourself enough credit because you've had another step because you played "They're Gone" for the incredible.
I also wrote
The Sound of Music.
The Sound of Music.
My name is Richard Rogers III. No, it's Oscar Hammerstein III. It's Richard Rogers.
The second.
Season standout. Megan's great. Stan coming into his own. I like. I mean, it has to be, unfortunately, Lane.
Yeah. I've gone Sally. I think Sally's been great. Series.
Sally's great all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, also we've got our final Bobby now. Bobby doesn't change anymore. But like and this final Bobby's the best Bobby. But how lucky they were with Kin and Shipka. And her growing into a young woman and growing into an incredible actress is really does bring home the decade passing, I think. Because you're like, oh my God, was Bobby in a horrible accident and had facial reconstruction surgery every other season?
Mrs. Brown's boys.
And I think she's just incredible. She obviously gets her period, and Betty has the great moment of being able to. She just needed a mother, and basically drops the mic on Megan there. Lovely, great stuff. Favorite Megan episode now that we have Megan. What have you got?
I've written these as numbers again, so bear with me. My favorite Megan episode was Faraway Places.
Mine too. Yeah. Your favorite Pete episode?
My favorite Pete episode was the last one where he got punched for the second time.
Double punch, yes. I've gone for Signal 30, where he gets punched the first time.
The first.
Joe and I've gone for Mystery Date. Finally getting to kick Greg to the curb.
I've also got a Mystery Date. There you go. Yeah.
Betty, obviously, tea leaves. Obviously, Betty is still around, but she's not in as much now.
Yes, I've gone tea leaves as well.
Roger, Faraway Places.
Roger, yeah, Faraway Places.
Peggy, I've gone for the other woman. I mean, that incredible final scene. Beautiful.
I've gone Faraway Places for Peggy as well.
Oh,
Just,
right.
The bit where that's the first time she properly like stood up against Don and did some shouting. I thought, great, great stuff.
And Don, I've gone a bit outside. I've gone for the Phantom. I really think meeting Adam again, that incredible final moment, the happiness on his face when he's watching Megan's showreel. I love the Phantom.
I've gone Christmas Waltz.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. Get ready to take a big leap and drown in champagne. Which leads us to your number 5. Your number 5, which was A Little Kiss.
It was just a little one.
Just a touch. Which is a slight translation of Zooby Zooby Zoo. Zooby Zoo, which Zooby Zooby Zoo. Well, when you go on Spotify, you can find Jessica Perry singing Zooby Zooby Zoo, or you can go for the original.
Is it in any of your playlists?
I have the original Gillian Hills version in my general playlist. However, I've really been getting into the Jessica Perry version recently. We meet we meet Megan Draper.
Yeah, and it's done very. It's was it Good Morning, Mr. and Mrs. Draper, something like that. That's all that's done. That's all that's said.
And the book ending is this race riot outside of P&R, which is based on a real thing. This really happened. The water balloons was a real incident.
Oh, wow.
I mean, Christ. And then Roger does a funny joke where he's like, we can make fun and we're going to post an ad about equal opportunities. And obviously...
it backfires.
It backfires to them. And we're going to, obviously there's a lot of crude humour Roger does. And I think it's Ted Shaw who eventually is with Thing, and they send this horrific African like Mongol statue and with a CV attached to it. Just
like, did anyone see that CV coming?
Did anybody see, and they have to now hire, and Lane goes, we're only applying for secretaries, and so gentlemen, thank you. And
you are free to leave. No, you are welcome to leave.
And and we get Don and Don.
Yes.
Don and Don. Isn't that confusing?
Dr. Donna. Friends.
No, nobody's mentioned it so far. Glorious meeting of Don, and as we said, you don't have to say you love me. And obviously we have Lane with his wallet woman. Yes. Again, Lane starting off on a note of a bit of happiness, a little bit, not majorly. However, the centerpiece of this episode is, of course, the party.
It is. It sure is.
What a knockout! I love Megan going to Peggy to begin with, and who should come? And Peggy going for Don, a big surprise party for Don, and Megan's like, no, everybody, you've never seen me throw a party. Everybody's going to leave here and want to have sex. And it looks like a great party. I wish I was there.
I would like to be at that party a lot.
Obviously, it's ruined.
I've missed parties.
I've missed
everything. I'll host a party, Tom, and you can come to it.
It sounds wonderful. Zooby Zooby Zoo themed. Also, another thing, not to be too crude, but we open with Sally waking up and knocking on Don's door, and the first thing she opens
we
the
get
door,
a little, a bottom shot.
We get a bottom shot And I think it's not gratuitous in the slightest because of one key thing. It's 67, and more than that, how did Don and Betty always go to sleep? In their pajamas, and Betty in her lovely nightwear. And so anytime she'd come in, they'd all be greeted with that. And now Don's shirtless. They've presumably had sex. Even if they haven't had sex, they probably sleep nude, I think. And she looks and it's like, oh, okay. And like, this is the new relationship. This is how this works. And obviously Don's very happy. And the kids are as well. The kids like Megan. Yeah, it's going pretty well. And this big party, it's obviously ruined by Roger and Jane.
Of course. And
he already knows. He met us in the hall. We go, oh. And but yes, the big moment is Zooby Zooby Zoo. What did you enjoy Zooby Zooby Zoo, Will?
I enjoyed it a lot.
Were you taken by surprise?
I was. I didn't. Oh, she really is going to sing. Even to the point where she was holding the mic, I thought she's not going to sing.
She's not going to sing.
It was very Partridge. Why do birds?
You know what I love? That it's the full song.
Yeah.
He does not let her cut away. And as it goes on, it starts off with, a bit of whistling and, this is great. But no, we're going to do the full song.
Harry's loving it.
Wee wee, wee wee. Harry. Ugh, I don't like Harry. Oh, wee wee, monsieur. Put the legs on her shoulders. And I tried to tell you, piece of shit. I don't like Harry. Hate Harry. So annoying.
Because he looks like you.
That's not true. That is not true at the slightest. Everybody comment. And they go, just put a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whether I look like Harry Crane. Great actor. He's great in Wet Hot American Summer. He's great as Harry. Just person, don't like Harry. And yeah, Peggy being a bit wowed, going, okay, this is happening. And of course, the kicker, Roger, why don't you sing like that? Why don't you look like him? Joan giving back as good as that. But you know what my favourite part of this entire episode is, Will?
What?
It's when they go to bed after and they talk about Dick Whitman.
Yes.
And we realise that he obviously trusts Megan enough to tell about Dick Whitman. And it's no big deal at all.
Yeah.
There's no big Gypsy and the Hobo full episode argument. Which
comes back really nicely when obviously Betty's trying to kill the marriage. And she's like, why did you ask about Dick? Yeah. And she's like, yeah, we talked very willingly about it.
Yeah.
Betty's not happy. Yeah.
It obviously starts with, I think that's Dark Shadows. Which will be coming up quite high.
Which you cut. Yeah, no, I liked it a lot.
I like every one of these. I would literally give all of these 9 or 10. I really do. I really would. I just think we get into a position. Anyway, we will get to Dark Shadows and we will talk about Anna Draper, the return of Anna Draper, at least in name form. Will, is there anything left to say for A Little Kiss? How is this in your ranking of season openers?
Very good season opener. I enjoyed this. Yeah.
It is pretty excellent. Number 4, commissions and fees, also known as... That's my number 4. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Dark Shadows.
Dark Shadows, okay. Let's talk about Dark Shadows. So currently we still have the possibility, same number 1. We'll see. Let's talk about Dark Shadows. We were just talking about it then. Yes, Betty finds on the back of a sheet of scrap paper, I'm going to buy a light bulb so that when I get home I can see you better. And that sends her on a trip. And she goes, well, actually, let's talk about your father's first wife, Anna. I think Megan does a pretty great job of... They were back in those days. That was a way
explaining it without... Yeah.
It was a way to help each other out. And Sally also knows a little bit. She's like, oh, is that the woman that we went to, the house of the woman we went to go see? It's a wonder. And
my favourite part about the whole episode is the fact that Betty manages to turn Sally against Megan, but then in the end, Sally realizes how much of a horrible person her mother is.
Yeah, Betty, real piece of work, Betty. What was I going to say? Oh, she lets me eat what I want. Yes. Don getting ready to call Betty, going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And Megan going, "No, don't give her the satisfaction. You don't let her poison our marriage from 50 miles away." Meanwhile, also in this episode, we have Ginsburg and the devil snowball chance in hell. And he leaves it in the car.
I preferred Ginsburg's. In fact, I thought both ideas were rubbish. I thought when Don was on his little machine going, snowball chance in hell, that's pretty good. I'm thinking, I thought that was a joke because I thought it was a rubbish idea.
Do you not know the phrase?
I do, but I just thought it was rubbish.
It's just a bit cheap.
If you're going to go for snowball's chance in hell, do a better idea.
It works because you can hear the voice. I love that it's not. But this is the thing. I love that it's not his best pitch.
Yeah.
I love that it's a bit shit, but he needs the success. Yeah.
Ginsburg, yeah.
He needs to leave the Ginsburg stuff in the car and do the. I love it whenever they snap a board.
I don't.
No, I don't really. I go, oh, look at all that art. Also, this has Roger and Jane together again for an episode.
Yes.
Jane wanting her own apartment, and eventually they have sex. And obviously,
and now she wants another one.
Yeah, and obviously now that apartment's ruined for her as well. You know, you couldn't even let me have this. This is what I wanted. I told you what I wanted. And yeah, it's a bit rubbish for old Janie, for old Roger. Sad for everybody.
So, I mean, she was lying then. Clearly, it was nothing to do with Roger's mum. So I think she should apologise.
And this culminates in, yes, the Thanksgiving smog of 67.
Yeah. Was that a thing? Of course it was a thing. They do research.
They do the weather, yeah. And Henry toasting a lovely Thanksgiving meal. I'm thankful. And Betty, for better or for worse, believing, I'm thankful that I have everything I want. Does she?
Yeah. Does she miss Don? Or does she not enjoy how happy he is without her?
Well, this is the thing. There's a great, I think 92nd Street Y in New York, and they do these big like seminars and stuff. And it's called The Wives of Don Draper. And it's Matthew Weiner, and it's a conversation moderated. And it's Matthew Weiner, January Jones, and Jessica Perret. And one of the things is, basically, season 4, she's fine. Because, yeah, Don's miserable. I've got everything. Now, Don's got this beautiful, sexy French woman who isn't just a sexy French woman. She's great with the kids. And in those times when her acting's not going well, she's a pretty good housewife, which is what Betty, obviously, nobody's a better housewife than me. I am the chief housewife. And yeah, you would feel jealous, I think. And of course, that great moment when she has to pick them up and they meet face to face.
She stares at her for a bit too long, I think. Because that Megan just happened to walk the other way. What happens if why are you looking at me?
Well, also, she's looking at her because she's seen her put her bra on.
All right. And
obviously she's got a great figure, and that's just another kick in the rear for Betty, who's obviously now heavier. Yeah, she's obviously, wow, look at that great woman.
I got to empathise with Betty a lot this season.
Did you? Oh, yes. Right.
Yes.
Well, what about when she gets out the shower? When she gets out the bath? She goes, turn around. Because I've seen you naked. I've seen you plenty of times. Go.
No.
Turn around. Betty. That was Dark Shadows. My number 4 was Commissions and Fees, which we'll get to in a moment. My number 3 was The Other Woman, which you have at 6.
Yeah.
We've talked about the beautiful, touching farewell. However, let's talk about Joan and Herb Rennet. What did you think? Where did you think that he was going to go through with it?
No, and well, which I mean, it's the cleverness of the sort of
Conceit,
playing with the chronology twist. That was, I liked that a lot.
That was great.
You think, oh, she's already done it, so there's nothing you could.
Just brilliant. And then
I liked that a lot.
Oh, it still works. Still works. I feel like I've got Cleopatra. I feel like I've got my tent with Helena Troy, and obviously Pete's. Also, for a while, Pete's not been terrible.
No, Pete was. No, you don't say any of that, Pete.
Yeah, well, this is like Pete's not been a horrible person for a while, and then him coming back.
He's like, Cleopatra was a queen. How do we make you?
Do you see Cleopatra as a prostitute? And Joan, incredible. Where do you come up with this stuff? And Lane gives her the advice. No, ask for partner and ask for 5%. Don't take the money if you are thinking about this. And so here's the big thing. Matthew Weiner has talked about it before. Half of Don's disappointment isn't that Joan's prostituted herself. It's that I didn't win Jaguar. I should have come in and saved the day, and we didn't need prostitution. I'm that good. I can win as Jaguar. And obviously, no. And then that great thing of him realizing when I think Roger says, get all the partners in here. And she comes in, and that single look knocks you out every time. Something beautiful at last that you can truly own. You had that at number 6. I've got that as my number 3. Your number 3, Will?
My number 3.
As a matter of fact, we're just going to take a small pause. I'm going to urinate. Mad Men, what do you have at number 3?
Oh, I put my phone off. Tom went for a wee.
I did go for a wee.
I've got Mystery Date.
Mystery. I want to say blankety blank. Mystery Date. You're not a good man, and you know what I'm talking about. Did you do a little yes?
Yeah, this was such a great episode, and the accordion scene is great.
Joni plays the accordion, and obviously she did play the accordion in season 2 when at another terrible Greg day.
Yeah. A very happy birthday. And obviously, I mean, to skip to a completely different part of the episode, we've got the whole dream sequence, which is, that was exciting. That was very exciting.
Machen and Mick, you're not a Twin Peaks person. Are you a Riverdale person, Will?
No.
Thank God. But yes, Machen and Mick is wonderful in this. Obviously comes on to Don, not knowing who Megan is. I love Megan's line. We could go to plenty of places in town where we could bump into people I used to work with. Because obviously Betty was Don's, well, she says she was Don's first. I don't know. I think I believe that. But obviously Megan is a very sexually liberated woman who's been around in the 60s for a good 5 years. So she probably has had a fair share. And this is a new dynamic. And obviously the introduction of Megan confronting him going, I'm your wife now. You can't, and she says, you can't blame it all on Betty.
You're my wife.
she does do the whole Papa Lazarus for 5 minutes. But yes, the killing of, I can't, this need to cheat, this compulsion. I really think, I think you're right. It really does get to the heart of Don's character and the fear, because the fear of this, of adultery.
Yeah, and we've never really seen that before. With him
No.
going, "You got to leave now, get out," and he's proper. Yeah,
I think it's because we caught him when the Betty stuff was at its trough, shall we say,
Yeah.
or just steady going. I'm sure in those first years when he had a few offers, he turned them down. And he's afraid. He knows what he's like, and he's afraid. I deeply do believe he's afraid that he'll cheat on Meghan. But he loves Meghan, and he strangles her. Did you think that she was dead? Did you think that we were going to take another drastic change?
At first, I thought she was dead, but then when she was dead, I thought, no, that can't be real. Can't be real.
Obviously, the little subtle thing of when Don comes back to bed the first time round, it's in reverse, and it's just that little bit weird, and you go, that was odd, and it just visually brings us into this concept of.
It's when he hides the legs under, and then he just goes, "No, I'll go back to sleep." Don wouldn't do that.
No.
Yeah, so that's when I thought, okay.
And he's been asleep for a couple of days. You've got to sweat out that fever. Have you ever had a terrible fever, Will?
I had pneumonia, but that's when I was like a few months old, so I don't really remember that.
No. Have you ever been in a state of illness where you've deluded? Well, or not to the extent that you've had a full-blown scene of killing somebody or something to that effect?
I've never been that ill.
No.
I just tend to feel sorry for myself.
Yes. The incredible killing there. And of course, Joan leaving Greg, thank God, at long last.
Yes.
I'm glad the army makes you feel like a man, because I'm tired of trying to just knock out work from Christina Hendricks here. Excellent stuff. And also in this episode, Peggy inviting Dawn home, and she's very liberal.
Yes.
And then just that one look at the purse. And then suddenly Dawn realizes, you're just like the rest. You're not a cross. You don't burn crosses, and you don't wear a sheet, but you don't trust me in the house. And she leaves in the morning. Thank you for. Sorry, I hope I didn't disturb you. Great. Do you like Joan's mother?
No.
Oh.
Sorry. I thought you meant Peggy's mum. Sorry. No. Yes, I do like Joan's mum.
Oh, we don't like Peggy's mum. Oh my God. I'm gonna take my cake back. I want Plodge living in sin. What episode? What episode is that? Where and then Joan really sets Peggy up a bit for a fall.
Yeah, it might be Signal 30. Might not be. That's just on my screen in a minute.
The other woman, my number 3, mystery date. Your number 3.
Yes.
Here we go. Let's see if we've got anything in parallel.
Yeah.
My number 4 was commissions and fees. Your number 2 is
commissions and fees.
Oh, okay. So we do have the same number 1, which we will get to momentarily. But let's talk about commissions and fees, which we have basically. It's episode of Lane's passing. The great angry Don.
Yeah.
What's happiness? It's a moment before you need more happiness. And gone are the days of like him flirting with Rachel in that bar. And, I don't believe in love because it's a thing that people sell. I sell it. I'm living like there's no tomorrow because there isn't one. And that sort of charm and charisma. And now he's just angry and berating people. I won't be fine until I have 100% of your business. Thank you very much. And Roger is the audience in that moment. I liked seeing that man again that I saw earlier today. And because, he's sort of become a bit blasé with it all. But now they've got Jaguar, they've got Dow Chemical, and SCDP is on the up and up, Sterling Cooper Draper Price. Sterling Cooper Draper Prize. Great stuff. And yes, the Sally period episode. It's your boy Glenn. Were you happy? Were you happy?
Yeah. And they finally went on a nice date.
They did.
To the museum. Yeah. They went to Africa.
So Glenn meeting Megan, did you expect him to then start hitting on Megan?
No.
Or he's a one girl guy. He would never betray.
It's all about Betty. Oh.
I'm going to save you from all this. It's horrible to say. I love how brutal Lane looks.
I'm glad we got to see it.
Because the way that it's built up, you think, oh, okay, it's terrestrial, it's cable TV, they can't show anything. And it's really effectively done with the reactions. I think something terribly wrong is I think there's something terribly wrong in Mr. Lane's.
Yeah. Well, it's as soon as you just see them look up and go, oh God, you know what there is there. It could be like an orgy for all we know, but you know it's a
And and then Don, he's still up there, and you know that the fumbling of the door, and the not slapsticky, but the realistic fumbling of jarring that door and then shutting the door and then slamming the body slamming back, and they're brutal. And I love the payoff of that with Adam in the Phantom, the ghost of Adam, again with the neck bruise, with the serious neck bruise that you get from hanging. And cutting Lane down. Obviously, Don feels as if it's all his fault. Joan feels it's all his fault. Roger can't believe it. And Pete's Pete. It's terrible. And Bert's Bert.
Yeah.
But it does hit Don and Joan the most. Glorious episode. Beautiful episode. Horrifying episode. And then Glenn gets to drive. My number 2 was one of your cuts. It was Signal 30. Yeah. Absolute masterpiece, I have to say. I love that. I do. I think it's, I always had this in my head as the Pete episode, but it's as much Lane's episode as it is Pete's. Obviously, we end with Pete. Obviously, there's lots with Pete. But, we start with Lane. We start with drip, 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 drip. And Pete going down, not feeling like a true man because he can't fix the sink.
That's great.
It's the 1966 World Cup.
Yes. Well, it's coming home.
Because it starts off and you're like, it's the World Cup, oh, come down. And you're going, do go down, Lane. You have no idea. It's not like you can sky it. You have to go down. And yes, and then this leads to the Pete and Lane dynamic, which obviously comes to a head in a fight. I've had enough of you, you grimy little pimp. And consider that my last piece of advice. And I love that it's a real fight. Well, it's a fisticuffs fight, but it really, real bruises.
Yeah.
And
we're
supposed to be friends. Brutal. Jenny in the in his driving course, he falls in love with the younger girl, and he thinks, all right, this is going somewhere. And then sexy young man, Don, when he was 20, let's say, comes down and he's that touching her in the class, and Pete has nothing. We have the great.
He has a wife.
He has lovely Trudy and a lovely daughter, but the entire episode he's just emasculated, and he fights back the only ways he can by telling Roger about Ken, mocking Ken's story. Well, why doesn't he? That great little short story about the bolts, and Ben Hargrove, I think, is the pseudonym. And Don thinks, and then Don fixing the sink. Just even I got a flutter. I mean, good God, when he rips his shirt off and he's like, hold this, and he's so cool. And then obviously in the car, the only reason you're getting anywhere is because I'm so surprised about how much I loved watching you fix that sink. And you're like, I get it, Megan. Yeah, and of course that's something that Pete just can't do.
He runs off and he gets the toolbox.
And then he comes back and it's nearly already done. And but it stopped the dripping. It was coincidental. And then they go to the brothel, and Don has a lovely conversation with the madam. Yeah, they used to call it a whorehouse. And Pete's now with the prostitute. And what does he want? What does he want as the role play? You're my king. He needs. This is the only place he has power, and he's paying for it. And I look. So how did we feel about Lane trying it on with Joan?
I mean, it makes sense now. Like it is desperation, but yeah, I've never shipped them.
No. Yeah. Poor Lane. Maybe next season, Lane and Joan will get together. Oh, wait. Very sad. Yeah, no, that's my number 2. I have to say, absolute knockout episode. Love it. Which means. And that was directed by John Slattery, and he does an absolutely excellent job. However, this does mean that we have the same number 1, and we can lock it in straight away. Most Mad Men episodes have 3 stories in them. However, they are told side to side and over a chronological period. Episode 6 of season 5 doesn't do that, and that episode is Faraway Places, which Matthew Weiner basically said, I wanted to do 3 short stories. And we get 3 short stories, and they each are excellent, each are intriguing, each are dark, funny, brilliant, and illuminating. Yeah. The playing with chronology, so well done and so intricately woven. And also, at the back of our mind, sets us up for Jaguar.
Yes.
Sort of brings us into the world of, oh yeah, they do sometimes play with time, and they do sometimes do that. Like obviously the end of season 1.
To condense it down to its simplest form, any episode where Roger goes to an LSD party is going to be our joint number 1.
This is true. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We start with Peggy. And yeah, again, Matthew Weiner has talked about how this is just Peggy trying to be Don for the day. So they don't like the Hinds, so she fights back. It's beautiful and it's touching, and nobody else is going to learn how to. Nobody else is going to be able to say that about beans. So she starts drinking. The bean ballet, and so she starts drinking at the office, and then she goes to the cinemas because that's what he does, and then she has an anonymous sexual encounter, but it's not this romantic, sexy thing like Bobby Barrett or any of them. It's cheap hand job watching the naked prey.
He goes in and is like, no, let me just do this.
Yeah. Look forward. And they smoke a joint at Naked Prey. And then halfway through, Peggy calls Don and is like, yeah, no, the Hinds didn't work. And Don's very flustered. And you go, okay, what's happening there? Roger.
Because it's chronological.
It is chronology. Roger and Jane. I mean, I keep looking now to find a place.
What was the best part of the LSD trip for you? One for me.
The cigarette with the trumpet is an incredible gag. The vodka. It's
the Russian Red Army Choir vodka.
And him laughing. And Don, don't look in the mirror. You didn't say that. And I love how we ease into it. And because Roger and Jane are quite okay at that point. And then obviously in the LSD trip, she confesses, yeah, there was a guy, I had a kiss. I could have. I don't think this is working anymore. And then the morning after, she thinks, oh, that was just a fun LSD trip. And he goes, no, you said things. Yeah. This isn't going to work. And Roger's second divorce. Also, the 1919 World Series from the bathtub, which was obviously the rigged fixed one, where they got paid off. And so for him, that's the concept of my entire life as the happiest moment of my childhood was a big fix. So that's that. I know it's just glorious. And Don, you are okay. You are okay. Other than the Russian vodka, what was your favorite part of the LSD trip?
The cigarette. Yeah.
The hair.
The hair were fine. They were fine.
With Ted Knight, that was a real ad, and obviously that's Ted Knight from Caddyshack, which I always find funny. Well, we're waiting. No. Wonderful, Judge Smales. Are you in on Caddyshack?
I've never watched it all the way through. It's been on in an afternoon, and my dad's been watching it when he's doing the ironing and stuff like that. Yeah.
Be the ball.
Cinderella story. It's got the recipe for a big tick from me.
I mean, oh yeah. And then just when you think, not get weirder, but just when you think the episode, like, then we have Don and Megan, and we have Don pulling Megan out and going, let's go somewhere. And okay, you're gonna love this orange sorbet. And
she hates orange sorbet.
No, this is the thing. Does she hate orange sorbet, or is she trying to prove a point? And it goes, you can't control me like this. Yes, what does she say? Open your legs. Yes, master. And he just drives off. He's not doing that. And he drives off. And then he comes back after 5 minutes, obviously, and she's gone. And she's hitchhiked all the way home back to New York. And we have a great 10 minutes with Don just sitting around in a Howard and Johnson's and genuinely worried, it seems.
Yeah.
And it comes.
I like the guy says, I've got some bad news. The pools. They've had to close the pool.
And and then he drives home, as we talked about the glorious flashback of.
Yeah.
And then the chase around the apartment with them both falling, and the collapse of I thought I lost you, and it's so clear that this is more than a honeymoon period. They're in love with each other, deeply, and then Peggy walks past slowly, Megan with Stan and Ginsberg, and then Roger. It's going to be a beautiful day. I have an announcement, everybody.
Still on LSD.
Still on LSD. I have an announcement, everybody. Oh, and then also Bert. Great scene for Bert. Really cutting him down. You've been on love leave. Look at this. This is shit. Get back on your game. And perhaps that's emblematic of the rest of the season with Don and Megan's relationship straining because Don's getting fully in on Jaguar. And that is far away places.
A good Bert. My favorite Bert line was this isn't any of your business. This is my business. I liked that.
Bert's great. Just full stop. Bert, incredible. Love Bert. Love everybody. That's the show, and it's incredible. Far away places is our number one for season 5.
Yep.
Number 2's Signal 30 commissions and fees. I am fine with commissions and fees.
You bet you are.
And I have no choice in the matter, really. And there are two that go through. Two that go through. I think, I mean, we'll see what.
I mean, we're spoiler for when we do decide, but we're not going to put the episode that Lane tops himself as our number 1.
No, it's not a laugh riot.
What's the episode you get people to watch to get into Mad Men?
What's at this current stage?
Yeah.
No, we'll have this conversation in a minute. So, Faraway Places, number 1, commissions and fees, number 2. The Other Woman I have at 3, you would have that at 6. Mystery Day, you have at 3, I have at 9. So I guess it's The Other Woman.
Yeah.
Then Signal 30, because it is my number 2, even if you don't cut it. So I guess that goes there. Then Mystery Dates. Then You have Dark Shadows, but that was one of my cuts. I have Lady Lazarus at 5. You have it at 9. A Little Kiss is next because you have it at 5. I have it at 7.
Yeah.
Then it'd be Lady Lazarus because we both have it. Then Dark Shadows because you have it and it's high. Dark Shadows. Then The Phantom, which we both share, very close. And Christmas Waltz, which we both share and are very close. So our top 10 of Christmas number 5, of season number 5. Number 10, Christmas Waltz. Roger and Don and Joan forever. Number 9, The Phantom. Hello, Adam. Hello, back again. Number 8, Dark Shadows. Betty fails at trying to ruin the marriage. Number 7, Lady Lazarus. Megan becomes an actress and Don realizes the Beatles suck now. The 6, A Little Kiss.
True.
Zooby Zooby Zoo. What else is there to say? 5, Mystery Date. Bye Bye Greg. Number 4, Signal 30. Pete learns to drive, becomes a terrible driver, and has his life put into position. The Other Woman. Joan prostitutes herself, and Peggy says goodbye. Number 2, Commissions and Fees. Rest in peace, Lane Price. Moriarty himself, Jared Harris. And number 1, Faraway Places. Peggy gives a hand job, Roger does LSD, and Don and Megan. Woof. At current, well, I'm going to give you the top. So what we do is, when we come to ranking it full stop, we take the top 2 from each season. So we have, from season 1, Nixon v. Kennedy, Red in the Face. Season 2, The Jet Set, The Mountain King. Number 3, Shut the Door, Have a Seat, Guy Walks into an Advertising Agency. Season 4, The Suitcase and Beautiful Girls. And now Faraway Places, Commissions and Fees. Obviously, you'll take time, but what's jumping out to you right now as sort of your top episodes?
I mean, for me, I'm still putting Red in the Face up at my top.
Great
for me, that's the one that's really singing.
So great episode. Is it singing when you open a bottle of vodka, or is it just
that was the thing I wanted to say. Roger's really into his vodka this series, isn't he?
He's always been into clear. He's always been a clear boy.
Ah. Is that what we call them?
Yeah, vodkas and gins. He's always been, and he only drinks bourbon and stuff and whiskey when he has a drink in Don's office, because Don doesn't have anything else to offer, which I think is rude. You're not paying for it. Just get a bottle of vodka in there. If people are coming to you,
I do like how Roger helps himself to a drink every time he walks into Don's office.
Of course he does. He put him where he is.
Yeah.
He sold in those raincoats. He doesn't owe him anything. The Phantom and Christmas Waltz. Right, I have updated that. Well, season 6, it's not downhill. It's not downhill from here in regards to quality, but there goes Duck's dog again from Maiden Form. He's very sad. It's not downhill in quality, but it's downhill
in quantity.
In quantity, yes. Not long left now, Will. We've got 2 episodes left, 2 series left.
Oh. 2 episodes? Yes, please. 2 series, yeah. What have I got to look forward to in series 6?
Series 6. Well, you'll see. Lots going on in series 6. It's the most violent year of all time, or at least the 60s. So that sort of violence looms over. There is an absolute batshit crazy episode that you are going to love. If Faraway Places was your number 1 here, I think I know what your number 1 next time is. And also another cracking closing season moment. It's all to come. It's just excellent. It's the greatest show ever made. Full stop. Well, my friend was wondering, are you alone? Look down, look up. Almost.
I think I did it better.
You did do it better.